Hi everyone, Rahul here. In my previous video, I have explained you about different type of SQL constraints we have, like default constraint, unique key constraint, primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, and check constraints. In this video, I will specifically talk about the unique key constraint as it is very important topic. So what is unique constraint? A unique constraint is a single field or combination of fields that uniquely defines a record. Some of the fields can contain null values as long as the combination of values is unique. So this is very important point you have to remember that whenever we are trying to create a unique constraint, user will not be able to insert duplicate value, but he will be able to insert null values in the unique key. And there are some properties of unique key. In Oracle, a unique constraint cannot contain more than 32 columns. As I said, like we can create a unique key on a combination of columns, but that combination should not contain more than 32 columns. A unique constraint can be defined in either a create table statement or alter table statement. So there are two ways to create it. When we are creating new table, we can create a unique constraint. Let's suppose you have created table and you have inserted data as well, but let's suppose this is not a duplicate, there is no duplicate data present in a table. In that scenario, you will be able to create a unique constraint on any column after that with the alter table statement command. So let's see in a database. So I'm creating one table amp underscore unique and I am creating a unique constraint. So in my previous video, you have seen one way of creating a unique here we can define after the column name. This is another way to create a unique constraint. So just give the column values data type and then comma separated, then constraint, and you are defining a constraint. Amp underscore unique, you are giving a constraint name. So this is a table. So you can see that we can give constraint at this con underscore emp unique. So this is the constraint name. This is the table name and unique keyword and then on which column we are trying to create it. So now let's try to create a table. Table is created. Just see now you are familiar with this user constraints table. Here we will be able to see all constraints on a single table. So we are trying to see the constraints on AMP unique table. You can see that constraint type is U. There are different types of constraint type U, P, R. U is for unique, P is for primary key, R is for foreign key. So here it's a constraint type is U. It means we have a unique constraint. Now if we try to insert the same value, duplicate value, it will throw an error unique constraint violated. So unique key, as we already discussed, that defining a unique constraint on columns means defining a unique key. So it's the same way whenever read any term unique key or unique constraint it means same. So it's a, like a primary key, but it can accept only one null value. So unique key and primary key both provide a guarantee for uniqueness for a column or a set of a columns. So whenever you have a requirement that user should not insert a duplicate value in a column in a table, so you can go with anyone like you creating a unique constraint or primary. I mean, first one is to go with the unique constraint. I will say I will advise you to create a unique constraint. Primary key and foreign key is a different concept, like we will discuss in detail in future videos, like this parent child relationship. If you have to create a uniqueness, then go with the unique key constraint. So there is automatically defined unique key constraint within a primary key constraint as well. Okay, and so syntax is there, we have already created, like you can see that we are trying to create a table and we can give as a constraint name, then unique. That's we have already seen. So create unique key using alter statement. So if, as I said, like if we have already created a table and data is not duplicate, we can still create a unique constraint on a table by this command: alter table table name, add constraint and then constraint name, then unique keyword and then a combination of columns. So let's have a look at the database. So let's have a look at the database. So let's have a look at the database. So alter table emp underscore unique we have already created, and that time we have created a constraint on one column, that is on emp id. Now we have trying to create a constraint, another constraint on a combination of columns. So this is altered. Now if you see on this table, we have created two constraints. Both are unique type of constraints, conamp unique and conamp unique 2. So conamp unique is on emp id, conamp unique 2 is on emp id and employee name. Now next is difference between a unique key and primary key. So this is very important question for an interview perspective, that what is the difference between primary key and unique constraint. So in primary key, none of the fields that are part of primary key can contain a null value. Unique constraint, some of the fields that are part of unique constraint can contain null values as long as the combinations of values is unique. So I can show you as well. Just try to insert null in this table. So you can see that one row inserted. So it is possible to insert null values if we have a unique constraint on any column, but it's not possible to insert null values if we have created primary key constraint on a table. So you can see that we have a unique constraint column on employee ID, but still we are able to insert null value into employee ID column. So that's all about unique key constraint. If you have any doubts, any queries, you can comment me. In future videos, I will explain you about the primary key and foreign key constraints and the differences between them. So stay tuned. If you have learned something new, please like this video. Happy learning, guys. Thank you.